What's going on, guys? I'm back with another how-to styled video on the R32 GTR. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description for people who would like to skip ahead to different steps. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to completely rebuild your brake calipers and tell you everything you need to know. There's 4 easy steps to follow to do this. Anyone can do it so long as you have the tools and some compressed air. Step 1, remove the calipers. Step 2 is to dismantle the calipers. Step 3 is to clean and or paint them. And finally, step 4 is to reassemble your calipers. So let's do this. First things first, we got to remove the front and rear brake calipers. Some rear calipers have the handbrake as part of the caliper, so be mindful of this. It's ideal to remove the brake line before removing the main mounting bolts. Make sure to use a flare nut spanner to remove the brake lines. Failure to use a flare nut spanner will most likely result in rounded shoulders on the brake line fitting. Unbolt the calipers from the hub and remove other bolts or brackets holding the calipers on. Now you can remove the brake caliper along with the brake pads and in most cases the discs as well. Wash off any brake fluid as it will cause damage to your paintwork. This vehicle is an R32 GTR and it has a rear drum handbrake setup. I'll touch on this briefly. To remove the rear discs, you need to pop out a rubber plug, rotate the drum until you see one of these adjusters. Using a screwdriver, rotate this wheel. One direction will push the brake shoes out and the other will retract them. Retract the brake shoes until the disc can be freely removed. Different pullers can be used to assist along with winding a bolt into the thread as seen here. Before I commence, let it be known there are different designs in calipers. Here are a couple. Gaining access to the piston can vary in steps. Some calipers don't have these pins, for example, so you may not need to do all the steps required or shown in this video. Use any tool to pry this wire clip out as shown. Next, use a blunt tool or even a pin punch to push these pins out. It doesn't matter what you use just so long as you get them out. Be careful as the plate can fly off when removing the pins as you see me do right here. Once the pins are out, you can remove the brake pads, metal pad guides and gain access to the pistons. Some calipers will have pistons on both sides like mine, or some will only have the pistons on one side. The process still remains the same. Using some circlip pliers or even a screwdriver, flip the circlip off as shown. Next we can remove the dust boot to completely expose the piston. Repeat steps for all pistons on the same caliper. Once done, use a handful of rags or even a piece of wood and wedge it between the pistons. You need something that's going to take a bit of an impact. Next, get your air gun and blow into the same hole that the brake line fitting went into. It's extremely important not to have your hands in any place where the piston will hit it. It could possibly break bones or fracture bones or cause some serious damage to your hands. Sometimes you'll get both pistons at once. Other times you'll need to make use of restraints such as clamps to hold loose pistons. This process is harder for the more pistons you have per caliper. C-clamps are going to help you out as well, so if you have access to them, use them. As you can see, I have one piston out and the other one hasn't quite made it. I'm going to show you another alternative in case you don't have any type of clamp available. Split the caliper by unbolting the bolts. You'll need to find a flat surface to lay these holes across in attempts to stop airflow. You can remove the O-ring seals at this step also. Slightly move the caliper until one hole is exposed while still allowing the piston to make impact with the wood block. Now, you can use your air gun in the hole and pop out the last piston. Don't muck around when removing pistons as they can seriously injure you or someone else. As said earlier, there is no other way to remove a piston without compressed air. Now, we can remove the piston seals that stop the fluid from leaking past the piston. Use care when removing them as to not scratch or damage the piston bores. I used the hook end of a scribe to pry these seals out. From here, you have a great chance to clean the hell out of your calipers and even paint them. Over years, the brake dust will collect in corners of the caliper. Now's really your best chance to clean them properly using chemicals like brake cleaner or degreaser and using a wire brush as well. I elected to paint mine the same colour as my wheels, and yes, I'm going to be doing a video about respraying and repairing your wheels soon. So now that you have your brakes clean and or painted, it's time to assemble. I'll leave the website link to to where I got my kits from down below. However, they did not supply me with new O-rings that go between the caliper halves, which is pretty piss poor to be honest. As you can see, I have all the new parts laid out and ready to go. Start by wiping your piston seals, then applying either the grease provided in the kit, your own rubber grease, or the brake fluid of your choice to lubricate them. Preferably, use the same lube throughout, but it's not going to kill you. Once the piston seal is ready, lay it in the groove and push it in carefully. Be careful not to damage it whilst installing, as it can cause leaks down the track. Apply some more lube to the piston bores and to the pistons themselves. Lay the piston on top and firmly and evenly press it in. This is all about feel. It is possible to push the piston seal out of position when installing the pistons themselves. You should feel it slide down nice and easily. Now, if you were paying attention, you would say, "Backyard mechanic, how am I meant to install the dust boots when the pistons are pushed all the way in?" And you're right. It's much easier to install the dust boots prior to pushing the pistons down. However, you can put the dust boots on when the piston is near on halfway down. Whatever you decide doesn't matter. Now, when your boot is on and the piston is pushed right back, flip the lip of the dust boot over the edge, get your circlip and clip it on. I did not have a pair of circlip pliers with the grooves, so I just used my hands and a screwdriver as well. Make sure the clip does not tear or damage the dust boot when installing. It is possible. Once the pistons, boots, seals and clips are all installed, we can bolt the two halves together. Lube up the little O-rings and lay them in place. Lubricate the bolt threads for future maintenance as well. Lay the halves together and bolt them down. Get each side nipped. Make sure the halves do not move while installing, as this can dislodge the O-ring and cause leaks. Once you've got it nipped, tighten the bolts evenly and firmly. Lastly, install the bleeder valve back in place. Some kits do come with rubber hats that go over the bleeder, so be sure to use them. And that's it. The job's done. Newly rebuilt brake calipers with new seals. Done right, it will not leak and will provide you with a hard pedal feel. It also gives you some peace of mind to know your calipers are cleaned thoroughly and will not fail you on track days or street driving. I will be doing a future video really soon about how to bleed your brake system, along with a bit of information regarding brake fluid choice, so stay tuned.
Slide, drop, hit don't fall, no stop, ayy, don't stop, ayy, don't stop, ayy, run a man on that beat, ayy, run a man on that beat, ayy, run a man on that beat.
Backyard mechanic again. Hey, Coach!
Hey, Warren!
Hey, Warren!